In a world where risk is constant, insurance is the promise of protection. But what happens when that promise breaks? 20 years ago, a bold idea was born to protect the unprotected and restore trust in an industry shaken by uncertainty. In 2005, the Policyholders Compensation Fund was established. This was an unprecedented move to safeguard policyholders when insurers are unable to meet their obligations.
The vision behind PCF's establishment was to create a robust safety net that would protect policyholders in the event of an insurer's failure.
The last 20 years have been marked by milestones, opportunities, and challenges. But PCF stood firm in ensuring timely compensation of policyholders and prompt resolution of insurers.
One of our major challenges was the limited public awareness and understanding of PCF role. We overcome this through deliberate stakeholders engagement, targeted outreach programs, and consistent communication. Another challenge was also developing internal technical capacity, which we addressed through rigorous staff training.
But what triggers PCF compensation process?
What triggers compensation is the cancellation of the company by the Commissioner of Insurance, IRA, Insurance Regulatory Authority, or place the company under statutory manager.
Compensation of PCF claimants takes a period of 90 working days from the date of receiving fully filled compensation claim forms.
Since 2005, when the fund was established, 7 companies have gone down. 4 we are currently compensating. The other 3 compensation period has lapsed. The 4 we are currently compensating are Blue Shield Insurance Company, United Insurance Company, Invesco Assurance, and Explico.
You would remember that the fund started in 2005. We were able to pay the first compensation in the year 2020, basically because of the operations of the law. At that point in time, one of the challenges was that the law didn't allow that you pay compensation immediately, but you had to wait for the matter to go to court. A company is liquidated. Then at that point, when liquidation orders have been issued, then PCF would start the payment process. Policyholders would make claims. But that was not so until after 2020, when the law was changed to enable now payments to commence immediately. A company is put under statutory management. And this we have seen in the last few years, where compensation has happened for a number of entities that have been placed under statutory management by the Commissioner and the Board of IRA. I must also commend PCF for the way they have carried out those duties of compensation. And our policyholders are quite happy. It's only that the current challenge that we have is that the amount that is being compensated by PCF is Kenya shillings 250,000, and you may know, of course, the sum assured or insured for many cases or in many circumstances is way above the 250,000. But that is the current situation that the trustees of PCF, the Office of the Commissioner, and the Board of IRA is looking at changing that and increasing the amount depending on the outcome of an actuarial study that has been done. So once that is completed and presented to the National Treasury, to the Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Body, then we will have direction on where we will be able to go and whether to increase or to keep it at the same level. But the current thinking is that the compensation amount of 250,000 Kenya shillings is not adequate, but nonetheless it provides relief for policyholders whose companies or where they had placed the insurance policies cannot pay. So for the time being, that is the situation, and we hope to improve from there.
Nilijua PCF kupitia one of wakili wangu. Ni accident nilipata, nikagongwa na gari aina ya Probox, mimi na watoto wawili. Ilikuwa ni Nakuru, place inaitwa Umoja tu. nikapelekwa matibabu Nakuru Hospital, na tulikuwa na injury ya mguu. Mimi nilipata injury, nikavunjika mguu, nikaenda pale nika apply, kaambiwa ningoje 90 days, nikalipwa shilingi 1250.
The fund covers claims arising from all insurance policies issued in Kenya. However, the following exceptions hold. Number 1, a policy of reinsurance. Number 2, a superannuation scheme. And number 3, claims arising from policies issued before the fund commenced its operations in 2005. Since its inception, PCF has compensated claimants of 7 collapsed insurance companies. 3 companies that PCF has finished compensating during the 2-year window period are Concord Insurance, Standard Assurance, and Resolution Insurance. As the world changed, so did the fund, embracing technology, refining governance, and expanding public education to ensure every policyholder knew their rights. Apart from compensation, PCF is proactively involved in corporate social responsibility, focusing on environment, health, education, and poverty eradication. PCF also aggressively engages in consumer education through county-based sensitization program dubbed PCF Mtaani. The fund has traversed various counties, namely Embu, Uasin Gishu, Nakuru, Marsabit, Mombasa, Kisumu, Meru, Machakos, Garissa, and Kajiado. The Policyholders Compensation Fund remains a pillar of financial stability. Its goal endures to safeguard, to reassure, and to build a future where trust is never in doubt.
We had an incident. We insured with a Blue Shield Insurance Company in a previous form, which was existing at Keast. And one fine day we had a sudden heavy windstorm, and a lot of damages to my greenhouses happened. Some of the greenhouses the plastic blew away, and we had severe damage to an extent of 3.33 million something worked out. And since it was insured under Blue Shield Insurance Company, we lodged our claim to Blue Shield. Unfortunately, Blue Shield, while processing, went down, and I think the company got closed. So we have been issued some discharge vouchers, and we followed, and we were never got any claim refund. Later on fine morning, PCF called us and inquired about this particular claim. Yes, we have certified, we confirmed them, yes, this claim is made by us, but Blue Shield has not settled that one. PCF, after a brief period, after verification of all those things, they send the amount as per the discharge vouchers, whatever we are to be paid, they have paid to us, and it went directly to our account.
Nilihusika kwenye accident 2016 na ile gari ilikuwa imenigonga, ilikuwa insured under Explico Insurance Company, ikafungwa hiyo Explico Insurance Company. Then kupitia kwa wakili wangu ndiye anielezea kuwa kuna Policy Compensation Fund ambayo inaweza nisaidia. Nikaweza kujaza form, alafu nikaweza kusaidika.
As the fund marks its 20th anniversary, stakeholders look back with satisfaction.
During my tenure, one of the things that we did was to establish the Policyholders Compensation Fund, or the PCF, which is a guarantee scheme to guarantee policyholders, beneficiaries, in the event of a failure of an insurance company. So in the year 2004, as a result of the failure of a number of insurance companies, particularly public service vehicle underwriters it was deemed then necessary that we would need to establish this fund. It was the first of its kind in Africa, and therefore we had very limited areas to learn from in terms of operationalizing that section of the Act.
The vision for PCF is a compensation of policyholders for companies which have been put under statutory management or where a license has been withdrawn. The response for the setting up of the PCF was because of certain insurance companies which had failed, and we needed a cushion for policyholders so that they have a fallback in case a company goes bust. And PCF was set up for that. And the whole idea is to have that confidence, for shareholders, policyholders to have that assurance, and also to make sure that we have confidence in the industry. The reason is that if we have confidence in the industry, we can contribute to the growth of that industry. And generally that will support even other businesses in the country.
Enjoy the current and look forward with optimism and renewed strength.
As an authority, we started off with the operationalization of the fund in 2005, and which entailed putting in place basic operational structures to facilitate the fund's day-to-day operations. That entailed making sure that we had a space, premises to work in, ensured that we engaged with our various stakeholders. The fund, for all intents and purposes, operated as a state agency and therefore needed to comply with various requirements of the law, which we did diligence throughout the entire period.
Accordingly, the biggest challenge we actually faced with, I believe, was we had earmarked almost 1 billion shillings to pay compensation to policyholders from collapsed. At that time, there were 4 insurance companies that had collapsed. During that period, when we had budgeted and made the money available to pay for compensation, we were held back by the law. At that time, the law was not very open, and it was restricting that companies that had collapsed had to be wound up before we pay any compensation.
As PCF marks 20 years of service, my message is one of pride and encouragement. PCF has come a long way, but its mission remains vital. I urge the current leadership and the staff to remain steadfast in upholding the fund's values and to continuously innovate and to deepen collaboration with all the stakeholders. May PCF's next 20 years be even more impactful in safeguarding policyholders and strengthening the resilience of Kenya's insurance sector.
Policyholders Compensation Fund, Dhamana ya Bima Yako.